Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. If you will, like, share, comment on the post, and then we will be in Jonah chapter 3 today, looking at the third verse. And if the previous two chapters and two verses wouldn't be recorded for us, this would be a great verse. But knowing what we know, it's actually it's still good, but it's a little bit sad. Because it says there, so Jonah arose and went to Nineveh according to the word of the Lord. Now Nineveh was an exceedingly great city, 3 days' journey in breadth. Just again, if you just add that verse, would go, cool, Jonah, that was awesome of you. You did according to the word of the Lord. We could put in parentheses this time. Because we know the story that God's already told Jonah once to go to Nineveh, and we know the story of how he has ran, how he has boarded the ship, spent 3 days in the in the belly of the fish, been spit up on the ground, on the shore, told again to go. And again, verse 1 tells us that God spoke to him a second time. Now Jonah obeys the word of the Lord. I want to contrast that with you, a passage that came to my mind as was sitting here this morning, Genesis chapter 22. You may recognize that passage. This is where God came to Abraham and addressed him about his son Isaac, the son who he had waited literally a lifetime for. And first of all, in verse 1 of chapter 22, it says, God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham. And he, being Abraham, said, Here I am. Immediately when God spoke, Abraham answered. Unlike 21 chapters before, 20 chapters before, 19 chapters before, when God had come into the garden and looking for Adam and Eve, and they hid because of their sin. Here, when God calls Abraham, Abraham says, Here I am. Then in verse 2, he tells him, Take your son, your only son Isaac. He acknowledges whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains, so which I shall tell you of. Now, what do you think the next verse would be? God has told Abraham to go now, or to go and sacrifice your son, the one you waited so long for. Take him and offer him as a burnt offering. Take his life on Mount Moriah. Verse 3, verse 1 is a great verse. When God spoke, Abraham said, Here I am. Verse 3 is an amazing verse. When God tells Abraham, Go sacrifice your only son, Bible says in verse 3, Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, took two of his young men with him, cut the wood for the burnt offering, and rose and went to the place which God had told him. He went to the place where God told him, but didn't just go, he got up early to go. What a contrast with what we read about Jonah and his story and his delayed obedience. Yes, Jonah finally was obedient. We'll learn as we go on, a little bit begrudgingly, but he is finally obedient to what God tells him to do. And he finally goes. He goes again according to the word of the Lord, but in doing so, again, he's done it at least 3 days later. Because he spent 3 days in the belly of the fish. Allow a day or so for travel to get to Joppa, a day or so maybe to get out deep enough in the water where the storm would be a genuine threat. I don't know how long they fought the storm, rode against the storm, but we know at least probably 4 or 5 days easy has passed since God told Jonah to go to Nineveh. Now he goes. Finally he goes. He is finally obedient. Finally does what God tells him to do. What a sad predicament. What a sad place to find ourselves in, to be said of us, I finally did what God told me to do. There's an old saying many of you have heard, I'm sure, when all else fails, follow the directions. What a true statement when it comes to being obedient and trying to live for Jesus Christ. Be obedient. Follow the directions. Never let it be said that we finally follow the directions, but let's be like Abraham and rise up early to follow the directions. Think about it. Have a great day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.